an empty garage area can only mean one thing, and that is it is officially time to go camping. Yay! All right, all. I do believe we are all set, ready to go, hoping to leave pretty early tomorrow morning. So, see you then. Hey y'all, we are back from our trip to Charleston, and I thought we would kind of briefly go over our highlights of the trip. So what we'll do first is Charleston, things we did around Charleston. Then we'll go on to breweries and distilleries in the Charleston area. And then last but not least, where we stayed, where we hiked, where we kayaked, all of that fun stuff. But before we jump into the video, here's a quick introduction in case you're wondering who we are.
Hi there, we're Matt and Stacy. We recently bought an off-grid property in beautiful West Virginia. We've been busy making this property our own little slice of paradise, adding in a few modern conveniences, having fun learning all of the construction trades, and converting a pole barn into our future home. This channel is about my passion for painting with a torch and wax, and about our passion for adventure and taking risks. Consider subscribing and join this creative community. And don't forget, hit that thumbs up button if you're enjoying the video.
All right, so up first, things that we did in Charleston. Do you have a favorite thing?
There was so much.
Mm-hmm.
I liked the Capitol.
The museum or the Capitol building?
Yeah,
itself?
actually the museum next to the Capitol, because the museum had so much history.
Yeah.
Super well done. Like, I mean, it was just, rooms and rooms and rooms upon history, and it kind of walked you through the timeline and things like that. So that was really cool.
This museum is called the West Virginia State Museum, and it's interactive displays. There's coal mine tunnels, railroad depots. It walks you through basically the history of West Virginia, and it's just really cool and interactive. I highly recommend going if you're ever in the Charleston area. They also have a nice gift shop there that has some like artisan products, things like that. So highly recommend this museum, and here are just a few snapshots that we had captured along our visit.
Yeah, the museum also free. You could easily spend several hours in there, especially if you are a history buff and into reading all of the information. We probably spent a good hour in there, but we were parked in a 1 hour parking spot. So we felt a little bit rushed, just wanted to make sure we got out and didn't get a ticket. So, but yeah, museum was well worth doing, don't you think?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it was a cool walkthrough.
Mm-hmm.
The Capitol building itself was nice because it's all marble and grandeur and all that stuff, but really not much to see outside of that.
They had like you could go up and see the rotunda? I think that's what they called it.
Yeah, the dome in the ceiling and all that stuff.
Yeah, it was fun to just go see the Capitol, and it was free, right? So it doesn't cost you anything to get in. Yeah, it was cool to see the marble and all of that kind of coolness to the Capitol. But
there are actually 9 different types of marble in the state capitol. And the state capitol was actually originally in Wheeling, West Virginia, and was moved to Charleston. So just a few fun facts about the state capitol. And here is Matt being a bit funny. Apparently it's not compliments of the state treasurer. He did thought this was rather amusing though. So anyways, few more scenes of the state capital area. The outside is absolutely gorgeous, and I think it would be a perfect spot to bring a picnic along to. There's also a lot of monuments outside of on the grounds rather, of the Capitol building. And yeah, it would just be really great to bring a picnic along, and you could easily spend a couple hours strolling the grounds and yeah, just enjoying the day.
Anything else that was your highlight from things to do in Charleston?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, just kind of the riverfront and things like that. We were a little bit early for all the concert series and everything else that goes on there. But the riverfront was really cool, like cool houses and just a little bit of entertainment districts. It's a really small city, so really navigable.
Yeah, you can pretty much walk the whole thing if you wanted to.
Yeah, another day we did that Capitol Market. And that was okay. It was smaller than I guess I was expecting, but pretty decent.
Yeah, and the Capitol Market, like it, I think as the summer picks up and there will be more outside vendors, because a lot of the outside vendor spaces looked a little bit empty. The inside, I think, goes on year round, so we were again a little bit early for a lot of like the fresh fruits and veggies, because they don't have that quite yet here. But yeah, it was cool to see. And I mean, we're also coming from an area where we have a huge market. So, you know, but the Capitol Market was cool to see. And if you're there, take a second to walk to Charleston Bread Company, because that is just down the street, and really good baked goods. Quite tasty.
Yeah, definitely good. And then just up the street from there, that's on Capitol Street, I believe. Just up from there is where all the breweries and kind of the trendy downtown area is too. So we'll talk about the breweries later, but
yeah, we could get into that now if you want.
Well, okay, let's go to the brewery.
All right. All right, my card got full, and I was saying that there is also, driving around Charleston, there's a ton of murals that you can completely see for obviously free. A lot of public art available. And then we also forgot to mention a place that we visited in South Charleston, which was I think it's the South Charleston Museum, and also the Creole Mound. The museum is only open Monday through Friday as of right now till 4 o'clock. So they have pretty limited hours. But it was really cool to see. And do you remember the lady's name?
No, sorry.
I can't remember the lady's name that kind of gave us the tour of it, but she was very, very informative. And it is, did I mention it's free? It is also free. And the mound is really cool to see because you can walk up on top of it, and I don't know, just something else to go see in the Charleston area. Anything else to add?
Indian burial mound, in case anybody was wondering.
Yes.
Not just a big mound of dirt.
Correct.
I wanted to mention 2 more places that we visited while in the city of Charleston and the surrounding area. One of them was the Spring Hill Cemetery, which overlooks the city and also has some historical tours that you can take, or historical self-guided walks. And then the other place I wanted to mention was Kanawha City Yarn Shop, which has some hand-dyed yarn named Charleston, and a really fun, cool little shop if you're into crocheting, knitting, or fiber arts. They also had material for if you're into spinning your own yarn. So now on to the breweries.
All right, so breweries. There's like, I don't know how many. There's a whole brewery row. We didn't hit all of the breweries. Did you have a favorite one?
Yeah, but not. It wasn't in Brewery Row.
Right. It's a little bit. I mean, you could still walk to it, but it is a little bit farther away. But what was it called?
Yeah. Nano. Was it just Nano?
I think so.
I think just Nano Brewery. But sat in there, talked to the owner of the brewer for a little bit while we were at the bar. Did some samplings. All the samplings, every one tasted really good. So it was kind of neat. unexpected because we went in and they have like these candies, sour brews or whatever that they're known for, like Skittles and things like that. But that's not my type of beer at all, so I didn't even taste them. But then they had, we had stout porters, two other darker beers, and all four of them were fantastic. So it was kind of interesting for that. So they were known for beers I don't like, and I liked the ones that we did.
And let's see, we did Fife, I think that's how you say it, that brewery as well. That was cute little, not little, but outside patio area was nice, and the whole thing opens up, so the inside, like all the windows on the inside all slide open. I don't know how much video I got of these breweries, but that was a fun little place. Great place to people watch, actually. Okay, there were 2 distilleries and a meadery that we went to, and I don't think we can pick a favorite out of the 3. Do you?
No, they were all really good and really cool.
All 3 very, very unique, really cool places. Didn't have any expectations either of them, so I think that always helps going into it. Don't have much of an expectation, and they turn out to pleasantly surprise you. So where you want to start?
Most traditional, least surprising was Bullock. Like that was your normal distillery, pretty good whiskeys on hand, and your normal kind of stuff. So that was an easy stop. Good bourbon. I won't say not much else to say, but just it was good. So,
yes, and we did buy some from there, if that says anything. So that's good. And the really cool like atmosphere in there had a lot of like live wood edge pieces, and we had the place to ourselves, so that was nice too.
We had all these places to ourselves. Because we were either early or Charleston was not a very hopping town. I'm not sure, but good for us anyway. Most unique, I would say, it's the Hatfield family distillery. So the great grandson of the original Devil Ann's Hatfield, his family owns the distillery. And this is one we went in with low expectations because they were mostly moonshines and flavored moonshines and all that kind of stuff, which we don't like either. Like we don't like we just kind of like the traditional normal kind of stuff. So we get there, do some samplings. We did a few moonshine samplings too, but nothing crazy. But the bourbons were fantastic, and they did flavor some of them as well. But even the regular bourbon was great. So we started talking with Mark, who's one of the owner and the great-great-grandson. He starts telling us a little bit of his story and history and all this stuff. And then in the meantime, we're also taking a tour in the back. And he's walking us around, showing us everything. We end up pouring from an 8, 10, and 12-year barrels from the back. So we're getting to sip right from the barrel out of those. We ended up buying a bottle from the 8-year. Which tasted great. We dipped moonshine straight out the still that they were making, which that was awesome too. And then what ironically I thought funny, at the same time that all that's happening in the back, they're also hosting a concealed carry class in the back of the bourbon and moonshine distillery, which I thought was kind of humorous. But so that's going around in the background, but just a fantastic experience. It's again, you're one-on-one with the owner and the brewer or the distiller, and taking samples right out of the barrels. And
really cool guy,
awesome.
Really down to earth, and you can tell he was very passionate about what he did. Very, very family oriented, family run business. So yeah, really cool place.
Yep. And then probably most unique is the meadery.
Yeah, we had no idea, again, what to expect we've been to a couple meaderies before and thought, we'll just go check it out to check it out.
Yeah, always good to go get samples, see what's going on. So we walk in, and there's a girl standing outside, and turns out to be the bartender, and she says, "You guys here for drumming?" And I'm like, I'm not cool enough to even know what that means.
I said,
we're like, no, just trying to taste some mead, not knowing what to expect. So we walk in, and again, the owner, I think his name was Dave, he and a few friends are sitting in the back, and they all have these big drums, and not like your marching band drums or anything like that, but like the drums you're beating with your hand and all these kind of things. And a couple different versions, sizes, all these kind of things. And they're sitting there, not playing anything yet, so we still don't really know what's going on. So we order some mead, do some samples again, get a glass of one that we liked. And then they start drumming, and I think you have some video.
It's a drum circle, kind of what they're doing. And I know this, yeah, I do have some video, which I'll stick in here now, but just know that there was a lot more bass. We're recording on our iPhones, so a lot more bass in real life. So, but
yeah, it was amazing. It sounded so cool. And of course, it's a small little hole in the wall brick shop, so everything just acoustically is like bouncing everywhere and sounds cool and this and that. But just all kinds of craziness. It was like so random. Like, what is going on here in this hole in the wall? But it was cool. It was just one of those unique experiences that you just never would have captured or known about. And we just walked in to taste some mead, and the next thing you know, we got all this stuff going on. So that was really cool.
Okay, so moving on to where we stayed, and we camped at Kanawha. Is that how you say it? Kanawha?
I think it's just Kanawha.
Kanawha.
Pronounced or spelled, it would seem like Kanawha because there's a WHA at the end, but everybody seemed to just say Kanawha.
So anyways, we stayed at the State Forest Campground, which was very quiet and pretty much empty. I'm sure in the summer it probably gets pretty crowded, and it is very small. I don't remember what the maximum length of RVs is, but very small sites. So I did get kind of some video of the campground, which I'll stick in here now, but it was quiet, pleasant, but definitely before you go, do your research as to what type of vehicle you're bringing, because the sites are incredibly small. And there are only certain ones that will fit in even our size, which is we have a 19 foot camper. So just be aware of that. And also the roads getting there are very windy.
Yeah, and I would add there are plenty of sites for water, electric, just electric, and then no water or electric. But of all of the sites listed, there are probably 5 that could house a camper, even our size. Like, we're smaller. But if you're vanner, 10 campers, things like that, awesome. But very limited in space as far as larger campers. And some of the sites we saw, even they're pull-through sites, but you literally have to drive over a hill and you kind of park at the top, and then you'd have to pull back out. So even disconnecting and stuff like that, they seemed like they'd be a challenge. Like, yeah. I don't know.
Just keep that in mind.
Yeah, we were kind of at the end of a road in a little holler, and like even to make the turn, we barely made it, and then had to back up the camper into it. Now, if I were to do it again, I'd probably just back all the way down the road, but definitely tight.
Yeah, keep it in mind. But it's a nice campground, very quiet. Okay, so you were saying things to do around the campground. There is...
Well, obviously your normal activities of hiking, trail ride. They had horse trail riding, hiking, but then they also had like an archery range. They had a gun shooting range.
Trout fishing.
Matter of fact, from what we heard from one of the bartenders at a brewery, they had just gotten rid of like a dam that they had because it was actually causing too much flooding. So they just got rid of a dam, and from what we saw, like they redid like an entire trout stream.
I don't know if I got any video of it, but if I did, I'll obviously stick it in.
Yeah, so that would be pretty cool, especially if you had kids and stuff like that. Like I would think that'd be fun to take and just kind of dip your poles in and try to catch some trout.
Yeah, the state not the campground. The state park itself was quite large. Lots and lots of hiking, and we did two hikes, two loops, which I'll try to put the map in here and kind of show you the loops that we did. But one was poly something.
Yeah, just a poly trail.
Poly trail. And what'd you think of hiking?
Yeah, I mean, it was a good hike. You know, in and out kind of situations, no major payoff, but not too bad. You did get up to the ridge to be able to kind of overlook a little bit, but...
Mm-hmm.
Come all this way just to see the fossil.
Is it a fossil?
The fossil or Mufossil? It's steep.
The loop that we did combines the Poly Trail and the Wildcat Trail. And it's a loop of about 2 miles and about a 500-foot elevation gain. So it's a fairly steady climb up and then descent back down. There's a whole forest growing on top of a rock. It's just like overhanging. The video probably doesn't capture it, but there, maybe that's better. This particular loop came highly recommended from one of the naturalists at the gift shop area, which is how we ended up on it. And all the trails are pretty well marked. And I think, like Matt said, the view is pretty good off of this one. And yeah, it was very quiet, which is why she recommended this trail on a Saturday, because we didn't see one other person here on this trail. And I would say it was well worth doing.
The second one was definitely a better payoff.
And that was we hiked to Castle Rock. And again, I'll put the trail maps in here and show you that. But.
Yeah, a lot of interconnectivity to gain trail access and do loops if you want to. We actually did an out and back on that particular one, but really because it looked like it could start storming any minute, and we knew the trail back, so we're like, well, it's comfortable, we know where we're going, let's go that one, instead of trying to figure out the system all the way back to the car. So
yeah, but pretty trails, some really easy trails, and then some a little bit more harder. I think both of them were rated moderate, but would you do them again? Like, would you go back?
I think there's too many other things. I'm not saying it's a bad place. I'm just saying that there's more that we're going to explore. So, I mean, maybe once we check them all off the box, of course. I'd always go back to some more. But, yeah, I mean, just because there's more hiking. But
Yeah, we barely kind of touched on the hiking, but we ran out of time.
This trail, including the CC Snipe Trail, is about 3 miles out and back, and has about a 400-foot elevation gain. So a little less of an elevation gain, but the views here actually, I think, were a little bit more impressive. It is, though, also more traveled. So just keep that in mind if you go during the weekend hours. I have a question.
Yes?
Did you see any kings or queens?
I'm the king.
Okay.
I don't know what I did, but
Planted your flag.
Made myself king. Yeah. Yeah. Nobody else is here, so it must be me and you.
And then Kanawha Falls, is about 45 minutes to an hour away from Charleston and or the state park. So, but we had been there before. Gorgeous falls, huge falls. But we kayaked.
I don't know where you're going with these things. Yes, we did. Also, before we get into that, pro tip, don't search your GPS for Kanawha Falls, because that's apparently a town on the other side of the falls that doesn't have access to where you're really trying to go. So
There used to be a bridge that connected the town of Kanawha Falls, West Virginia, to across the river to the actual falls. But that bridge, as you can see here, is clearly closed. So you have to go all the way around.
Put in like the historic inn, or we can put the name of that in maybe, but there's a historic inn that you can put in there. That's where you want to go. And then there is like a little park that we parked at to put the kayaks in. So
you could also put the park name in, but if you just put in Kanawha Falls, West Virginia, it takes you to the town, which is not, you don't have access to the falls.
It's on the wrong side of the river. And the bridge to get back across is probably a 20-minute delay. Spoken by experience.
Right. So, anyways, getting into the kayaking.
Yeah, amazing. I would highly recommend this, and I would even go back and do this one. We saw the falls before, as Stacy mentioned, and it just happened to think, like, oh, that'd be cool to paddle in because the park's not that far. So it's exactly what we did. Drove over, and when I say waterfalls, I mean, there's a horseshoe area where there's some man-made section across the river. There you're surrounded by probably 8 waterfalls, and it's like a horseshoe, and you can paddle right into the center of them and be surrounded by waterfalls. So hopefully the pictures and videos that Stacy, I'm sure, is going to put in here will do it some justice, but I'm sure they don't. And then it used to be like an old power plant or something. It's not operational anymore. So there's a really cool old building. There's some cool houses in the background. And then just tons of waterfalls falling around. Like the whole area, there's probably, I mean, I would say 12 to 15 even different waterfalls that you paddle up to and around and through and all this kind of stuff. They're all, 10, 15 feet tall, so they're decent size. And of course, it's the Kanawha River, so there's always water flowing across them. We heard you can walk across them at certain times, but there was way too much water now. So I'm guessing later in the season it slows down a little bit. But amazing, absolutely amazing. Like, just to be surrounded by that was awesome. So,
yeah, really cool.
Did get choppy. Stacy took on some water because the water did get over the side of her kayak. But it also, obviously, as you can imagine, with so many waterfalls, the water's going in so many directions. It like turns your kayak. Like there's hardly any flat water where you can just kind of sit. Like you're always shifting and paddling to kind of stay straight or stay towards something. And of course you're paddling upriver where it's flowing really high too. So it's always obviously trying to push you downriver, which also means it's trying to turn. It's, if you look at it from an overview map, like you'll see where it's why it would change so much, because it's almost like the boat ramp is in one little corner section of it away from the flow. So as soon as you get into the boat ramp, you're kind of paddling into the flow that's trying to push you downriver around the island kind of situation. So, but it was cool. I mean, it was amazing. It's one of my favorite paddling experiences, just because it was just crazy to be around so many waterfalls.
Yeah, worth taking the kayaks too.
Don't go chasing waterfalls. I don't know the rest of the words, but I certainly got myself in the middle of some.
I didn't see any place where you could rent kayaks. You'd have to look into that if you don't have kayaks, because it's a extremely small town, like we said, and I think the only thing there is that there's a couple gas stations and stuff like that, but not at all a big town.
Yeah, not at the falls. Definitely no rentals. But the inn, I would say, might be a cool place to stay. They are operational. They have overnights. They were open for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So, I don't know. I mean, maybe a neat little trip. Our entire trip, we took 4 days, 2 days of kind of driving down there, so we had half days. But, we hiked a half day before we left, and then the day we went into Charleston. But basically to tour the city, hike the hikes, and do the stuff that we did, 4 days was plenty. It was a nice long weekend. Charleston's a really cool little town, and it's our capital. For being our capital, it's a really small city, but pretty cool vibes because of it. So that was cool. We liked it.
Yeah.
Highly recommended.
Anything else to add?
I don't think so. Can't wait for the next trip.
Yeah, thanks for coming along. We have definitely more trips planned. Not anything on the books yet, but we're hoping to do that soon. And we'll be taking you guys along for the ride.
Bye for now.
Bye.
I can't even describe how insane this is. So pretty. Sitting from a kayak.